So I'm stoked to be here. I'm especially excited to introduce and have a conversation with our guest today. She's someone who is a professor of mindfulness at USC. Being from Southern California, of course, that's a big deal. She's written a book, and it's called Kindness Now, 28-Day Guide to Living with Authenticity, Intention, and Compassion. She's worked with Deepak Chopra. She's graced the stage of some of the biggest stages in the world, and she's a master teacher, which means that she teaches others to be teachers around meditation. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amanda Gilbert.
I actually love to remind all of my students and community members that I meditate with that meditation can meet us exactly where we're at. So often our relationship with meditation begins within, getting clear upon just a little bit of awareness, a little bit of an inkling of, this is what I want from meditation potentially to start with. And meditation has this beautiful capacity, again, to meet us where we're at. I often think of meditation as like a two-way street. And we know, okay, I want to be a little bit more kind, a little bit more present, a little bit more graceful with my daily interactions, and we're a little aware of that intention, then meditation has the opportunity to really come in and meet us. And as I like to say, do its thing. So meditation is limitless, really, with its possibility. And I say that from a very anchored place, too. I spent years doing clinical research on meditation and mindfulness. I was a center director at a health psychology laboratory at UCSF. So I actually tend to approach how meditation can help us and why it's so essential from a very grounded, empirical place.
What are your thoughts on meditation for high performers, peak performance, and some of the taboo aspects of it?
I think meditation really gives us the chance to first and foremost get anchored and grounded in who we are. I think that's one of the foundational benefits of a meditation practice is we become more familiar with our own baseline of authenticity, our own baseline of being, as I like to call it. And this is really incredible and important in today's world. There's so much pulling us out of our center. There's so much asking for our attention these days. And to actually, even for 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes a day to start, to sit in our own stillness and quietude, to get to know that baseline of being and a little bit of stillness and silence. For high performers, this is gold because this is where we can really start to springboard into our day from. And we're also able to sort of attune to the moment, meet the moment, each moment as it arises. So for high performers, we're really able to, I think, navigate life's ups and downs. We're able to meet whatever's arising work-wise, personally wise, and we're able to come from that really grounded and centered place. First, I often hear a very common phrase or comment after somebody meditates for the first time or is their first couple of times in meditation, which is they'll come up to me and say, Amanda, I have no idea why or for what exact reason, but I just feel like a little bit better. I just feel a little bit better. And I love hearing that so much because, again, like we were just mentioning, meditation really has this capacity to uniquely meet us on an individual level and in a personalized way. And when I hear people say, I just feel a little better, to me, that's a sign that they are sort of landing in themselves. They're landing in their authenticity. And maybe, though, also, we're able to meet our inner worlds, the mind in particular, in a kinder and less judgmental way. So in meditation, we really start first with the inner work. Meditation is a practice of inner awareness. It's a practice of inner work. And each time we meet, whether it's our self-critical mind, our self-judgment mind, that mind that sort of like narrates our every moment experience, and even is like criticizing or narrating our actions and thoughts and behaviors, the moment we become aware that we meet that with just a little bit more softness, a little bit more kindness, a little bit more compassion, we're able to actually extend that outwards to other people as well. And that infuses into our daily interactions. Present moment attention is like one of the greatest assets and allies we have in today's world. It's just really being able to offer that present moment attention to like every single conversation, every single person we're in conversation with. I even practice mindful text messaging. I think it drives.
What's an example of that?
Yeah, it drives a lot of people I text like probably bananas, but I pause before I start to write out my text message. It's a little longer sometimes than maybe just a quick like text, but I like to give a little bit of mindful communication, a little bit of like kindness in the text message. And then I take a deep breath and hit send.
By the way, when you're texting the last 24 hours, I'm like, wow, these are really kind texts. Because everyone's so quick, usually. That's awesome. And that's a good practice for all of us.
So like your version of mindfulness uses a mantra, but if it does or doesn't pick you address, yes, like you listen, using a mantra, you won't take versus whatever your version is.
Thank you so much for asking this. This was a little bit of our intention of what we wanted to perhaps get into at the start of our time together today, which is these different styles of meditation, right? The difference even between meditation and mindfulness. And some of my years in clinical research on meditation was really helpful in growing my understanding that from a mechanism perspective, there is a difference between these common words we hear about meditation from the media channels or in news headlines, that there is a difference between meditation, mindfulness, and meditation styles using a mantra. So first, let's get a little grounded in what the definition, a working definition of meditation is. So meditation is an actual activity or practice that we do, actually. So it is something that we do to grow our mind's capacity to live in the present moment. And during our meditation that we'll go into in a few moments here, all of us will be working with what I like to call the pendulum of attention model, which is we grow our object of focus in the present moment. We have our anchor that we bring our attention back to the present moment. And in mindfulness meditation, usually these anchors are the breath, the body, and also, believe it or not, sounds. Sounds are always happening in the present moment, no matter what. We can't hear yesterday's sound. We can't hear tomorrow's sound. We can only hear the sounds of the now. And same with the breath too, right? As long as we're here in this body, this breath and this body are always in the present moment. And so our attention during meditation, during the activity of meditation, inevitably, your attention is going to swing out. It's going to pendulum out to a variety of things. What will your attention swing out to? What are some ideas or thoughts that we have? It'll swing out to
The voice of my daughter.
Yeah, the voice of your daughter in your mind. Yes, thank you. I think I heard thoughts too, right? So thoughts. Great. What else will our attention pendulum out to?
Groceries.
Yes, the to-do list, the grocery list. Or what am I having for brunch in like an hour here? Yeah, so our attention inevitably will pendulum out to thoughts, to our to-do list, to emotions and moods. And this is actually the magical moment of meditation. This is it. Meditation is so simple because the moment we become aware that our attention is wandering into thoughts, feelings, moods, our great vacation we're going to go on in like 2 weeks or whatnot, that's the moment we choose to actually come back to the present moment, to come back to the breath, the body, sounds, or when you're using a mantra, you can also come back to a mantra that you're repeating in the mind over and over and over again. So when I was working in mantra-based meditation, and Deepak Chopra was one of my very first meditation teachers before I moved more into the mindfulness tradition. And I spent about 6 years working with the mantra every single day in my daily meditation practice. With the mantra, we repeat a word or a syllable silently in the mind. And different than the breath and the body, which is what we use in mindfulness, When we repeat a mantra in the mind, it's actually the mind meditating on the mind, is how I like to think of it. So your anchor that you're coming back to in the present moment is this repeated word or syllable in the mind. And for some of us, where we're feeling maybe really restless in the body, or there's a lot of maybe anxiety at times in the body, meditating on a mantra or a word or a syllable can be really, really helpful. And for me, it was actually a way to really grow my concentration in my meditation practice. So the difference is very minute, actually, the difference between a mantra-based meditation and a more mindfulness or body or breath-based meditation. Both are anchors that you can come back to in the present moment, but the mantra exists in the mind, where in mindfulness we use, again, body, breath, or sounds, and they're anchored in more of a body-based experience.
So we're going to dive into meditation in a minute, but just before we do, just a quick question on can you get it wrong? I sometimes when I meditate, I get distracted. I think about my next meeting or the next thing I have to do. Can you get it wrong?
Whew. So short answer is you absolutely cannot get meditation wrong. Cannot get that wrong. And this is, one thing I love to talk about quite a bit actually is we have this idea about meditation, especially in today's world, that we're not a good meditator if we have thoughts in the mind during a meditation, whether it's a 5-minute meditation, a 10-minute meditation, a 20-minute meditation. We think that if we don't have Zen mind or beginner's mind or no thinking mind, that, I didn't have a good meditation practice, or I'm not good at meditation. And remember the pendulum of attention model we just went into, which is we have our anchors in the present moment, and inevitably is the key word, our attention is going to swing out to a variety of phenomena and events in the mind, especially thoughts in the mind. And then we're going to swing our attention back in. The human mind, the human brain is created to think. We will have thoughts in meditation. And the beauty and one of the intentions of this practice is that we're training the mind. We're training our mind's attention to radically learn what it means to really live right here. Really live in each present moment as it's arising. We ask the mind, we ask our attention to live right here as the body is sitting as it is, as the breath is expressing itself as it is. As we're aware of even, our friends around us, we're aware of our emotions that we're carrying, from the last week or two. And we're aware even of again, maybe the thoughts that are popcorning around in the mind right now. And that's how meditation works, is we are aware of whatever is arising moment to moment. And with a kind and non-judgmental, very gentle attitude that, believe me, that's part of the practice. We can get better and better and better at that. But we just ask ourselves to come back. We ask the mind to come back and begin again as many times as we need to. So Sharon Salzberg, one of my mentors in the mindfulness tradition, she's an amazing meditation teacher. She's been teaching for 5 decades in New York City and has authored so many books on meditation and mindfulness. She says the art of meditation is the return and the beginning again. So the art of meditation is the return and the beginning again. So from that lens, can we get it wrong? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Beautiful. I think for me, meditation, especially when I first started meditating, I didn't see results. I'm not even measuring my meditation. If I feel at a 5, after my meditation, I feel a 7, type of thing. So I think about it almost like going to the gym. When you start off, you just don't see results, but after time, what happens? It just takes a little bit of a practice. What came up for me is, gosh, what a beautiful day it is today. Just kind of driving out of my house and just the sun was so bright. It's like a perfect Miami morning, right? So when Amanda mentioned, just imagine the sun hitting your face. That's why guided meditations is a modality. It's one way of meditating. That's something that I felt. And there's so many other ways to do meditation as well, whether Amanda mentioned mantra-based. But let's get back into the Q&A. Does anyone want to share kind of what came up for them or a feeling they had or a question they might have? This is a great time. Yes, and say your name, please.
My name is Adina.
Adina, okay.
Hi, I'm Adina. Is there any evidence that demonstrates that there's any benefit towards meditating alone versus meditating in a group?
Great question. The researchers have spent time taking a look at this, and what they have come to know is what's called the meditation effect. So they studied this body of research, took a look at people meditating alone, like you mentioned, in their homes, versus the experience, the qualitative experience of coming together in a community or a class or in a setting like we all are meditating in together right here. And they noticed that the students, the participants reported that when they were meditating with others and community, they reported more significant effects of the meditation practice. So they reported to be able to have their attention in the present moment. They felt like longer and in a more sustained way. They felt less mind wandering, like they were really able to stay in the meditation practice. And the researchers coined this term called the meditation effect. And there's two different ways of thinking about the meditation effect. One is it's like the collective relational field that is cultivated when people do come together and meditate. And you maybe just right now, even sense into our relational field here. There's maybe a little bit more palpable presence in the room. Our minds just coming out of meditation are maybe a little more centered, a little bit more congealed, gathered, less distracted, and we're creating and cultivating a meditation effect together. So we are in a field of the meditation effect. Then the other way to think of the meditation effect is all of us just coming out of a 20-minute meditation, we're in that field right now. We're in that meditation effect. And the researchers are also able to see that more you go throughout the day, a couple hours from now, 4 hours from now, 6 hours from now, the meditation effect sort of like waxes and wanes away and fades away. And therefore, this idea of creating a habit out of meditation can be really helpful, understanding that the meditation effect will dissipate and fade away. So therefore, we want to create another time to meditate. That's why an approach to really having the most benefit out of meditation is a consistent meditation practice, maybe daily in the morning or midday or in the evening when works best for you. I feel like today's world, what we're often looking for is just that doorway into presence, that even that split second, that split moment of feeling at ease and kind of centered in who we are, like that baseline of being. So while I'm not aware of any research done on like 3 breaths or 1 breath or that kind of in the moment mindfulness practice, what I can say for sure from my own personal practice and working with like thousands of students over the years is any time we give ourselves the practice, the gift, and that moment of taking that 1 breath, taking those 3 breaths, or bringing attention to like your morning cup of coffee or tea, or your feet planted on the ground before you catapult into the rest of your day, that's a big win in the meditation world these days. So please keep doing that. Keep doing that because that's your grounding, that's your resourcing. And hopefully one of the takeaways from our time here together is that any work that you do in meditation or that 1 minute of mindfulness or those 3 breaths, those are the gifts you get to share outwards with everyone around you and with the world for the rest of the day.
And so right now we're kind of, I wouldn't even say it's on the bleeding edge. It is kind of we've hit the tipping point of the last couple of years, I'd say.
Yes.
So it's a good time to have that kind of common connection to know you're not alone. We're all doing this together to be able to kind of elevate ourselves. So what a huge gift having Amanda with us this morning to start the weekend. Thank you, thank you. No, for you, it's awesome. Any final thing you want to mention? Any call out, anything you got going on?
Well, just to say a deep-hearted thank you to all of you. It's been amazing to practice together. It's been amazing to be in conversation together this morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence.